Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliax, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. And this week, our guest is Julie Riggs. She's Vice President of Community Relations for Fisher House. And I'm sure most of our listeners have heard about Fisher House, but for those who haven't, and even those who have, I think you'll be surprised at the extent of their services and everything that they offer. So it's great to have Julie here. She is actually a repeat guest. She had previously been on for her role with Blue Star Families, another amazing organization. Julie, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, Larry. Glad to be back.
Tell us a little bit about what you do as the Vice President of Community Relations.
Absolutely. Well, my role specifically and my team's role is to support the communities that either have an existing Fisher House or a community that will be getting a new Fisher House. And so we work collaboratively with the medical treatment facility where the house will be located, as well as local veteran service organizations, military service organizations, entities like, the DAR or, other local groups that are interested in supporting their local veterans and military through the Fisher House. And so we collaborate that support.
So listeners, for those who don't know, there are 100 houses in operation. I'm looking at the webpage right now. And the webpage is fisherhouse.org, O-R-G. I want everybody to go there and check it out. But 100 houses in operation, 534,000 families served, $650 million in savings to family, which are a result of offering families free housing while they're visiting loved ones in hospital system there. And so you mentioned communities that are interested in having a Fisher House associated with a medical facility nearby. Are there some in the works?
Absolutely. We actually just broke ground on the new Fisher House that will be in Montrose, New York at the Hudson Valley VA Medical Center in upstate New York. So September 15th, we put the first shovel into the ground on that one. And so that's the next one that will open. We also have in design Pittsburgh, West Palm Beach, Florida, as a replacement house, one that's better equipped for accessibility. We are excited that we'll be building our first house in San Juan, Puerto Rico, as well as we've planned for Perry Point, Maryland, Asheville, North Carolina. We've got quite a long list of houses that are pending, but those ones that I mentioned are in the next year or two. We'll be focusing on those.
Listeners, Fisher House isn't just at military hospitals. As Julie mentioned, they're going to be next to a VA here in Virginia. They have one down at McGuire VA Hospital down near Richmond. So they support not only active duty soldiers and families, but veteran families as well. Because as we know, veterans are constantly going into the VA hospitals for care, especially our elderly veterans. And it's just amazing to have this house nearby where the family can stay at no cost while they're visiting or staying. Their loved one is in the hospital, which is phenomenal. What does it take to put a Fisher House in the community? Who funds it? Is it public donations or is Fisher House?
It's a combination. So Fisher House Foundation, which is the headquarter nonprofit, we raise the money to build the houses. So we build the houses, oftentimes in conjunction with community groups who also raise money. We call them Friends of Fisher House, and private donors and people who are interested, maybe if they see a Fisher House is going in their local community, individual donors might give, but it pretty much filters through our foundation, and we raise the money to build the houses. They're about, at the moment, a 16 suite house is about $12 million to build.
Mm.
And so we raise the capital along with all of our partners and then build the house. And then we give the house back as a gift to the Department of Defense or VA.
Mm.
So then they take those upon completion. They take the houses and become responsible for operation and maintenance in perpetuity of those houses.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
the folks who work are employed at the Fisher House then are DOD or VA employees?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
But they're also
Mhm.
staffed by a large number of volunteers. I mean, there are a lot of people that want to help.
Oh, there are. Volunteerism is one of the biggest contributions to the houses. Communities do really wrap themselves around a Fisher House when it gets built, and we want them to. I mean, it's their house, that it's for their community, and so many people will come in and volunteer. And if people are interested in volunteering in a local Fisher House, they can reach directly out to the manager of that Fisher House and ask, what needs to be done. Sometimes volunteers will come in and do like a spring refresh of the landscaping. Sometimes they'll come in and cook meals for families who are at the hospital, so that when they come back, they have a warm meal to, eat before they go up to bed or something. There's a number of things that can happen. Holidays are great. People love to come in and decorate for the holidays at a Fisher House because just because it's the holidays or just because it's, downtime for other people doesn't, when people are in the hospital, their families want to be near them. And so our houses are usually full 365 days a year. Not full, but you know what I mean? There's people there at 365.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So who can stay at Fisher House?
absolutely. So the houses are built to be a home away from home for families of patients receiving medical care at a major military or VA medical facility. So the families of the active duty or veteran who is receiving that care. Family can be defined pretty broadly. So if your sister is your caregiver and you're a veteran and you're going in for a surgery, your sister is identified as family and could stay at a Fisher House while you're in that episode of care. There are times when people are going into hospice and they have a larger, broader group of family who will come to a Fisher House and stay as that person finishes, their life there in hospice. And so it just depends. So it's the caregiver and family members of the person who's receiving the care that are at the house.
Is there a limit on how long somebody can stay?
There isn't, as long as there is an active episode of care occurring. People have stayed for years, actually. When someone has maybe had a training accident, ends up unexpectedly in a hospital and has multiple surgeries, their family picks up everything and comes and stays at a Fisher House for months on end while the person, their loved one, is receiving the care they need. So it's always at no cost, and they can stay as long as they need to, as long as that person is still receiving care.
And while they're there, how are meals handled?
So the Fisher Houses don't actually provide the meals for the families as one of the guest amenities. However, often, as I mentioned, volunteers will come and make meals, stock the refrigerator or freezers with pre-made meals so that you can just grab one and throw it in the microwave when you get back from the late, long day at the hospital. Our groups that support, many of them will donate grab and go food items or fill the freezer. You will not often find an empty refrigerator at a Fisher House. So even though there's not a breakfast, lunch, and dinner service provided, there's always food.
Wow.
But the houses all have amazing state-of-the-art kitchens, and each family is given a cabinet and a shelf on the refrigerator. They have access to all of the pots and pans. They can cook their own meals. And I don't know, Larry, if you've ever traveled. I know when we would PCS, the first thing I would do when we would get into that TLA after having been on the road forever is to, I just make a pot of spaghetti because I just wanted to cook something. It's just kind of settles you. And so we find that those kitchens become this center of community in our Fisher Houses, and people are coming back from the hospital and they're making bread and they're cooking some dinner and they're talking about what's going on with their lives, and they're connecting with other families, and those relationships are just invaluable. I mean, those last well beyond their stay at the Fisher House.
Well, it also is extremely valuable to have other people around you that are going through the same thing as a sort of
Absolutely.
support network, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you could have like 5, 10 different families staying at the same time,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep. Our small houses, when we first started building them, were 8 suite houses,
Mm,
and pretty quickly places would outgrow those, and then we'd have to build a second Fisher house.
mm,
And then we started building the 20 suite house,
mm.
and we found that the 16 suite is sort of the sweet spot, if you
Yeah.
will. So there would be 16 rooms that have their own private bathrooms, and so that would be 16, families staying in that house at any given time.
Wow. What happens if the Fisher House is full and we have somebody coming into the area because of a service member who's been injured or a veteran
Right.
that needs surgery? Is there some other organization that could provide help and support while they seek refuge in the community, like at a hotel or something like that, or are they on their own?
No, absolutely. So we have our Hero programs is also a part of the Fisher House Foundation portfolio, and Hero programs include our hotels for heroes.
Mm,
And so if a family has been referred to a Fisher House and the Fisher House is unable to accommodate that family due to not having the room, the manager will call our team, and our team will immediately reach out to a hotel and pay for that hotel stay until the space at the Fisher House becomes available. So
mm,
the family will not be told no. They just may start their journey at the hotel, and then they would move into the Fisher House as soon as the space became available.
mhm. And I see that you guys also have a program called Hero Miles, which
Hmm.
really caught my attention because it helps families with transportation issues if they can't
Hmm.
afford to fly in because they've suddenly a warrior's been injured and they've been sent to
Right.
Walter Reed or Fort Belvoir and they can't afford to fly. Fisher House can help them with that. But one of the things that really caught my attention is that Fisher House provides round trip airfare and tickets for
Hmm.
service members who are
Hmm.
in treatment who want to go on leave and go home and visit their family, which I thought was wonderful.
And all of those Hero Miles programs and also Hotels for Heroes, they come from donations from people of their unused miles and hotel stays. So, as well as partnerships with the airlines and hotels. But people will often, at the end of the year, they have points they're going to lose or whatever, and we have agreements with them. Some of the hotels that if the person donates their hotel nights, then we can use them for this, and as well as airline miles. So it's an amazing program for people to give back if they want to in that way and know that their donation's going to support, like you said, a service member who maybe is getting medical care and then wants to go home and see their family for a little while.
Sure,
Um,
especially around Christmas or
yeah,
Thanksgiving. Um,
exactly.
I mean, nobody wants to sit around at Walter Reed over
No.
Christmas. Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
listeners, you can donate those miles right on their webpage,
Yes.
fisherhouse.org. If you go to their program section and you click on like Hotel for Heroes, there's a list of different hotels there. You can click on like Best Western and it'll walk you through the process of donating your miles or your points there. And certainly if they're going to expire, you want to go ahead and donate them. And I'm sure that once they're donated, the hotels and the airlines, they no longer are set to expire. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We've got agreements with them. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
how is this a seasonal thing? Is there times when Fisher houses are full and then other times of the year or when
Uh,
it's down?
yeah.
How does it
I think it varies by house, to be honest with you. Some of our houses, it really depends on the medical treatment facility that they're supporting
Mm,
and the rhythm or cadence of their their surgeries or their appointments. We actually see less people in Fisher houses during the holidays because people tend to not schedule a surgery if they can help it over
Yeah.
the holidays. So
Sure.
the houses will typically be much smaller in size of guests, and it really does depend. I mean, I'm thinking of Lackland Air Force Base, and they have the clinic where you can get the eye surgery. It's elective. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but where people can go in and get their eyesight improved.
Mhm.
And so they're eligible to stay at the Fisher House while they're there. And so those type of surgeries, when those are happening, we might have a handful of people in the Fisher House that are actually in that program, right?
Mm.
So it just really depends what the medical treatment facility or VA hospital specializes in, and how many people they see. The polytrauma units, those houses tend to be very busy.
Mhm.
And the stays tend to be longer. Yeah, so it just does really vary.
Are there certain houses that are constantly always full? Some of the bigger
Mhm.
installations in hospitals like Walter Reed, like Fort Sam Houston, those kind?
Yes. So there are, like, I know one of ours that's always seems to be very full is Charleston, South Carolina. We have an amazing manager there who does a lot of outreach to case managers and to hospital nurses and lets them know that the Fisher House is an option for, people coming in. And it's that sort of word of mouth in the middle, also in the military, or sorry, the medical community, to know to refer a patient to a Fisher House. And knowing the eligibility. So, the house manager does a great deal of outreach to make sure that the nurses all know that if a family comes in and it looks like they might qualify, make sure you give us a call. And he runs at about 95% occupancy on a regular basis. The Fisher houses at Walter Reed, there were two of them. As you can imagine, during the height of the OIF-OEF conflict, there were a lot of people at Walter Reed as one of the premier places that people were sent for care. And now there are 5 Fisher houses at Walter Reed
Yeah.
in Bethesda.
Wow.
So yes, they tend to be pretty busy there as well. So yeah, it just depends on the hospitals and the volume that they do as well.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you,
Hmm.
hotel rooms in Charleston are not cheap. So
No.
I can imagine that is pretty full, and that's just great. I mean, that's the whole purpose behind this thing,
Yeah.
is to say,
Yeah.
hey, you don't need to spend $300 a night.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
that's a
One-
burden for most families. It really is.
It is. And you know what we've also heard time and time again is about people who would not have come to do a surgery or get a treatment because if they hadn't heard about the Fisher House, because they couldn't afford it, or they wanted their spouse with them or their caregiver with them, and they couldn't afford to put that person up in a hotel. And so people will elect not to get treatments that are needed
Mm.
because they don't want to be alone in the process. And so, so many times we hear, these life-saving treatments, someone, found cancer early or something because they did go and get the scan they needed to get because they knew they could have their family with them at a Fisher House. And it's just, it fills my heart to know that we're providing that service for people.
What's the one or two kind of top things that, just generally speaking, a Fisher House in someone's area would need donated?
A lot of your main, staples, toilet paper,
Consumables.
consumables, yes.
Yeah.
The snacks, snacks are always helpful. Coffee, welcome bags of what am I trying to say? Like shampoo and care kits or whatever, those type of things. A lot of times people will assemble those and then drop them off at a Fisher House. And, more and more, if I'm being honest with you, gift cards for families who maybe want to grab a meal off base or something, or in the community, or maybe even a gift card for them to go grab some groceries before they head home because they've been away from home. So the refrigerator is going to be empty when they get there.
Sure.
We are seeing food insecurity in our veteran population and our active duty population as well. And so our our house managers will often have a stack of gift cards, and they'll give them to families in need as they walk out the door as well.
Yeah, great. And listeners, let's be clear about making donations like that here at Fisher House, okay? When it comes to snacks, when it comes to food like that, this is not stuff that's been laying around your pantry until it's, expired 3 years earlier. This is stuff you want to go out and buy and donate it. Then it's the same for the little shampoo bottles and things. They're not half used. Don't find something that you used at a hotel and then brought it home with you. New stuff, please, not used consumables. So, but also give your local Fisher House a call and say, hey, what do you need? Maybe it's something that your church group can put together. And I guarantee you they're going to have a list of consumables, say, we need paper towels, we need toilet paper, we need snacks, we need sodas, we need water. They're going to have a list for you, and your community group, your Boy Scouts, your Girl Scouts, your church group, they can all kind of put together. And when you got a group of people, what's really nice is that it doesn't cost much for one person to donate one thing, and before you know it, you got 40 items, and that's a substantial donation. That helps. So please consider doing that. Also, I want to again direct our listeners to the webpage, which is fisherhouse.org, and they're going to see up in that right-hand corner a donate button. Go ahead and hit that donate button, bang on it, and give what you can. Fisher House is a renowned organization. It's been around for a long, long time. I've known Julie for a long, long time, and I know that she wouldn't be hooked up with any fly-by-night operation.
Very true.
So your money will really be shepherded and used wisely, I guarantee it. And this is such a great organization because they fulfill a need that no one else does. There are organizations that come close, and like Yellow Ribbon for transportation and Blue Star Families and all sorts of organizations that are out there. But, other than USOs that have a physical property and location, nobody else does anything like this where they're just building a $12 million house for people to stay in for free. And, it's just an amazing organization. So, Julie, one last thing. Where do you see Fisher House in 5 years?
Well, I think we'll probably have a handful more houses. I don't think that the need's ever going to go away. I mean, medical care is something that continues to be needed by both our active duty population and our veteran population. And so we are, forever grateful to the people who fund us to be able to continue to build these amazing houses. We're, absolutely grateful that we get to continue to bless our those families and our veterans and our military and being able to say thank you for what they've done and show that there are people who do care and support. So I think we'll be a little bit bigger and have a few more options for houses to stay at. But we've since 1990 we've built houses and provided that home away from home for families and patients receiving medical care. So that's what we're going to keep doing. That's what we do.
Well, we thank you so much because you do it so well, and it's an incredible service that you guys offer. So thanks so much for coming on and telling us all about it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time and getting the word out.
Yeah. Well, listeners, we'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach us at podcast@willingwarriors.org. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. We're also on YouTube and Reese Across America Radio. So until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.